Well, we welcome in University at Buffalo Vice President and Director of Athletics Mark Alnutt for his semi-regularly trip in the Bullseye here. Season underway. Figured this was a good time to do that. And of course, there's a special reason we're going to talk a little bit about the opponent coming up because it's near and dear to your heart. Number 2 in your heart, I know that. But Mark, talk about the season opener. So much leading into a coaching change, new coach, new players, anticipation. Give me your sense on what you saw from Pete Lembo's squad in the win over Lafayette.
Well, I'm glad the season finally kicked off. I mean, there's, as you know, so much just preparation that leads to anticipation, that leads to some eagerness to be able to get things underway. And even going back to, our press conference in January with him and his approach to building a program, to inheriting a program, but also building it in a way in regards to meeting with all the returning student athletes, putting together a staff, recruiting, so late in the game. And then, being able to put together, a program that has, great structure, organization, communication, and, for our guys, they know what to expect, when to expect it. There's no surprises, and Pete's that same guy, regardless of what the situation is. And then also, too, I think a lot of the anticipation for the first game of the season is just a combination of his engagement, the program's engagement, our athletics department engagement with the community, with the university community in regards to really pumping up this new era of Pete Lembo football here. And we kicked off, and I'll tell you what, it was the energy in the venue was incredible. Great turnout by our students. Some, I'm not going to say subtle changes, some changes that hit you right in the face in regards to experiences for our fans that come, the Coca-Cola fan zone that's held in here in the field house, which has a ton of activity for fans, young and old, to come in here and have a good time, listen to a band and be able to have that pregame experience in a place that kind of shelters you from the elements, which we haven't had before, and then go enjoy the game. So all that coming together to be able to kick off against a very good Lafayette team and walking away with a win. And, even we just talked prior to going on air about the game of football. It's don't look at the bottom line in terms of, what it might be in terms of who's favored, who's underdog, whatever the case is. The thing I really, enjoyed watching this team play is, they overcome some adversity too. There was a time there where we couldn't move the ball. We had some turnovers and, defense, they rose to the occasion and had some key stops. We had some key plays on offense to win and win in a matter that how we should against FCS, a very good FCS program. So excited about the season, and it's good to start off 1-0.
The turnout was outstanding, particularly amongst the student section. What have you done to really get the students engaged? And we all know that when you have an engaged student population and student section, it changes the atmosphere in the building.
Yeah, we've mentioned the word engagement so many times here, but it's also been good partner and having a partnership with our student life on campus, having a partnership with the student association, on campus, and a couple things. I mean, you go back a few years ago where we want to try to get people accustomed. When I say people, our students accustomed to coming to the stadium. So if that begins the first week, I shouldn't say the first week, the first weekend they're on campus where we do the interlocking UB, which used to be held over at Barrett Point. We moved that to the stadium about 5 or 6 years ago. So all the freshmen come in and do that aerial shot of the interlocking UB. And then, I think too, what we were able to achieve this year and, it's going to start a tradition was our welcome back bash. Again, that was held over in the courtyard area over on campus. We moved that over to the stadium, invited, not only the university community, but the community at large to come in and be entertained by several acts, but then also serve as a pep rally for not just our football team, but for all of our fall sports. Our student athletes throwing T-shirts in the crowd. If you're a college kid, who doesn't love a free T-shirt? So again, and just remind the folks that hey, we need this energy, we need your presence at the stadium on Thursday, which have over 3,000 students at the stadium on Thursday night, and engaged students that a lot of them come state through halftime, it's good for us and very beneficial for our program.
All right, week 2 for the football team is a trip into the SEC to take on the Missouri Tigers. And for those people that don't know, you played football there in the 90s. You are from the state of Missouri. I know you have tried hard to make this game possible. What are your emotions for this trip out to Columbia for game number 2?
I'm excited to bring the Bulls to Columbia, Missouri. I mean, this is something that has been in the works now for 6 years. It was about a month and a half after I arrived here in 2018, the spring of 2018, where I reached out to the folks in Missouri and let's go ahead and schedule a game. And we scheduled it out 6 years ago. So once you sign that contract, you file it away, and obviously you're concentrating on the particular year. And as the years got closer and closer, and now that we're almost here to that kick, I mean, it's exciting to be able to go back and run into so many folks that either I worked with or a lot of teammates that are going to be back. Of course, teammates they're all hitting me up for tickets already.
Of course.
I'm like, hey guys, just do me a favor, wear something neutral. Don't wear the tiger head. Wear something neutral when you come to the game. But I'm looking forward to traveling with our team to be able to be a part of this experience with our student athletes, to go back to Columbia, Missouri, to even the walkthrough at the stadium, and being able to get there at 7 o'clock Eastern time for kick, and really enjoy our team compete against a very good SEC team.
Yeah, when you scheduled that game 6 years ago, they were not a top 10 team like they are now. We always joke about there's been a little bit of history of that around here at this program. That's the 6 years out. You never know, do you?
You never know. You never know. I mean, at the time, mid-level SEC team, and now they're 11th, 12th in the nation, and that's a testament of the program that they're building there at Missouri, which I have a lot of respect for, Coach Drinkowitz, their administration, in terms of what they're trying to achieve, and just understanding, what football can do. Not only that university, but also for the state at large.
All right, so this is the big Power 4 game of the year on the schedule for the Bulls. Looking ahead, next 4 years, Minnesota, Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan are the next coming ones down the road. Is there still a place for these kind of games in the sport, with teams adding conference games? The money is such a big factor. Do you feel like a game like this is still a good thing for them and for you?
I think there is. I think there is. To this point, and even in the near future, I feel that these games will be ones that are continuing to be scheduled into the future. Right now, when we talk about, again, you mentioned something key that kind of latched on to when you said Power 4. We're one conference down, and there's 4 power conferences. But now with the CFP, the 12-team playoff, and looking at even potentially already talking about expanding that, we haven't even had the first one yet. I still think there's going to be opportunity for these games. Now, one thing in regards to the supply of these games, where we have to get up in front of these games in terms of scheduling, is that more of these conferences might go to playing an additional conference game or whatever the case might be. So I would say in the near future, the next 5, 10 plus years, that these games will be one that will still be scheduled, and something that I always look at the experience of the student athlete, the opportunity to play at quote unquote big time stadium, and to be able to, showcase your program, whether it is, in this case, the SEC Plus network, or sometimes it's an opportunity to be on linear, that it bodes well for not only just the paycheck we're getting, but again, the experience that we're having. And then also, too, there's been upsets. There's been upsets to these games too, and everyone plays to win.
Yeah, Pete Lembo executed a few of those in his previous stops as well, too. That's something to keep an eye out for. Football comes back home against UMass for the following Saturday. How do you capitalize on the success of the things that you mentioned as an experience here at the stadium, coming off a win in the first game? How do you get people back? What do you have in line for a game that will be on national TV against UMass?
Unlike Pete Lembo and his staff, where obviously their focus is one game at a time, right? So all the focus is on Missouri, and UMass is down here, in regards to priority for them from a game planning standpoint. For us and our staff, the game planning has already begun in terms of looking ahead at how can we improve, the experience that, our fans here. How can we, again, re-engage, excite our students to come back. It's great that they're here for the first game, but what can we do to be able to bring them back for the second game? So plans are in motion. Plenty of communication is going to be going out. It is a nationally televised game on CBS Sports, which is it's always key for us to kind of show up and show out. We hear that term quite a bit, but I think for us to be able to again plan, be proactive, and get people excited about what we have going on here, and then also enhance some of the experiences, because the thing that works well for us of people who went to the first game and talked about the great time they had, and be able to spread the word and be able to bring their friend, whether it's a classmate, a roommate, a coworker, neighbor, whatever the case might be, and then also too just being able to continue that outreach to the community. Whether we had so many high school football teams that showed up to the game last week, we want to do that again. We want to be able to open up more opportunities for youth to come as well, whether it's the youth football teams or through the school district or whatever the case is. So more to come, but definitely excited about the things we're putting together to keep people engaged with this program.
All right, football's not the only team that's has taken on and will take on some ranked opponents. Let's talk about a couple other sports. Volleyball has a game at Pitt. They are a top 25 team. Volleyball's gotten off to a good start. How impressed are you with what Coach Scott Smith has done this year?
Very, very impressed. And I think the one thing that I was impressed about, and we saw this really building in the last 2 years, was the attendance at our matches this past weekend. Great attendance. We are now ticketing, that sport. Everyone except for obviously students who have the opportunity to come in, but it's such a fast-paced game. It's exciting. It's exciting sport to watch, and the job that Scott's doing in regards to the staff he's surrounded himself with, being able to develop our student athletes and also recruit student athletes that can play the sport very well. It's exciting. So for us to be in a position to, when he told me about this game back in the spring, he's like, yeah, I jumped at the opportunity, for us to play the, I believe, 4th ranked team, or I know they're top 10 in the country. So why not? Be a great test for our young ladies, but it's something that I know they'll be up for the task.
And the soccer team has already knocked off a top 10 team. They beat number 9 Pitt a week or so ago. Home games coming up this week, Canisius and Colgate, before they head out west. Hey, at any level of any sport in the group of 5, you don't normally beat a lot of top 10 teams. What did that mean for Sean Burke and the ladies?
I'll tell you, it meant a lot. It meant a lot, for not just the program, but again, for our athletic department, also our university, to just show that you can be able to compete at that level against a very good Pitt team, and they're going to be in the mix again in the ACC and potentially the NCAA as well. But what that showed me more than anything is, again, we all lace it up. We all do everything the same. It's just getting out there and playing the game, which they were able to do. And again, being the first time in school history to beat a top 10 program is something that we can be able to tout, and we can celebrate and be able to, enjoy this. And obviously we get back to work. So very exciting. I watched that match, and it was just incredible effort all around. I believe Sean gave a team ball or player of the game to the entire team. Mm-hmm. It was a team effort. So, my thing was that after we won, I'm glad I didn't get an email or a certified letter from Pitt saying, no, your volleyball team can't come and play us after what happened here.
Understandable.
But no, it's a great start. Obviously for them to be able to do that, and the homestand this week will be fun to watch. What we were talking about volleyball, what they've done. Cross country started last weekend and had a couple top 5 finishes on both the men's and the women's side. So this is a great time of year. I mean, it's been so dormant, so to speak. I haven't seen you for forever.
I miss you.
Every now and then.
Now you see too much of me.
But it's good to just have a vibrant campus with all of our students here, and athletic program that's operating in full cylinders right now in the fall.
All right, and we always like to touch base with you because you are the chairman of the NCAA Football Oversight Committee. It's always cool to get your insight into what's going on at the highest levels of college football. I know it's only one game, but did you get any feedback on the major rule changes coming into the season, which was the coach-to-player communication, and both on offense and defense, the tablets on the sidelines? What's the chatter amongst your oversight committee members there?
Well, that originated from the Football Rules Committee, which we were very supportive of that. And the reason why we were supportive of that, because as they were going through that process, we went through the process of having more than at the time, it was your 11, your 15 coaches that can actually coach on the field. To your head coach, the 10 assistants, and then the 4 graduate assistants. You have your quality control people, you have your analysts, and in the past, those coaches could not offer skill instruction in practice and also games, which, it's not really realistic when you really think about it, because they're around the program so much, and individual student athletes might go to them for whatever coaching points they need. So really in conjunction with that, to be able to open that up for, those people, that personnel to be able to coach, really bodes well with what we're talking about here with tablets, because now you have 18 tablets that are on the sideline now that, very similar to the NFL. They could be distributed, based on position groups or what have you. You don't have that many full-time coaches and GAs to really go around. So now you can have some of those personnel people, going through the tablet with, for example, the tight end group, whatever the case might be, the running back group or your linebackers or what have you. So, it's been a welcome change for a lot of people, even compliance folks who got tired of looking at the sidelines and say, hey, Paul, you can't coach because you're not one of the full time. So that's a good thing. The the coach to player communication is, again, just another opportunity to modernize the game. Something the NFL has been doing for years, something that they protected along with that they perfected along with the tablets. So again, just that opportunity to have that green dot, which we all know now more than anything on both sides of the ball, to really get some last minute instruction, from the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, whatever the case is. It's shut off at 15 seconds, and then you let them play ball. So welcome changes, and just, I know you know this, but it's not the 2-minute warning.
I was just going to say,
it's a 2-minute timeout.
You know me, I like my cards, right? I had printed a card to remind myself during the game, and had printed 2-minute warning. I have reprinted it for this week. 2-minute timeout. I do not want any of your oversight committee members to go, your broadcaster isn't even getting it right.
You've been removed from the chair on that, because you're
2-minute timeout. We know warning for the NFL world, but for college, it's the 2-minute timeout.
The 2-minute timeout, which again, the changes last year about the first down, the clock running. So now you have those rules implemented under there. But really what it is just to kind of avoid that. We all know the clock guy on the sideline. We all look at that guy in almost nervous anticipation. Is he coming out after this dead play or whatever the case might be? But what it is, hopefully, that the networks will all sync with that 2-minute timeout. That's the last one of the half. And so the next 2 minutes is, all about, playing football. So I think it's, the feedback from the coaches has been overly positive, and hope from a fan standpoint as well.
Good. And I want our Smart Bulls fans to know it is not an extra timeout. It is one of the designated timeouts of the quarter, second and fourth, that will just be marked as the 2-minute timeout. Right? Everybody thinks it's more commercials. That is not the case. All right. Always good to catch up with you. Good start to the season on a lot of fronts, and that means a chance for this to be a really special year here at UB. Mark, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Mark Alnutt joining us in the Bullseye.